So you had a brother that was a retired corrections officer that worked for the county. And he was inside of a supermarket shopping, doing what we all would do. We trying to buy some food. And two cops just ran in there, grabbed him by the neck, threw him to the ground, and started beating on him, talking about that he was a suspect. But yet they got the wrong guy in the process. Let's go and roll the clip.
I've never been coerced, physically abused, beaten, treated like a slave as I was 2 days ago.
Ronald Lanier broke down, describing how he landed in handcuffs and the hospital. While innocently shopping at Western Beef Wednesday, he says Garden City police threw him down and beat him without explanation.
And for somebody to grab me by the neck at the supermarket, and I'm telling you, I'm one of you, and you disrespected, it was just like, you just another black dude.
He too wears a badge, retired after 2 decades as a Nassau corrections officer. He claims he complied and explained he's law enforcement, but cops laughed.
When you don't have a good description, you don't just start scooping up black people. That time is gone.
Surrounded by civil rights activists, Lanier spoke of bruises to his body and his dignity. After 20 minutes in a squad car, the real perpetrator was found, a heavier man. These cops let Lanier go without a word. We reached out to Garden City Police, now being sued for their side of the story. They declined, but did provide context. They were chasing a fleeing shoplifting suspect. The perpetrator abandoned his getaway car on the railroad tracks, then fled into Western Beef. A case of mistaken identity, but officers with blacks in law enforcement in America say it happens all too often.
And we're hoping that the Garden City Police Department will come forward with respect, identifying their officers, disciplining their officers.
Lanier understands the difficult work of brother officers, but says there's no excuse for brutal racial profiling.
I'm tired of hearing officers constantly talking about we have to retrain. We don't have to retrain. We gotta let them be held accountable for their actions.
He wants them stripped of their badges.
No justice, no peace.
They started marching from the Western Beef in Mineola, where the alleged incident took place, all the way down Franklin Avenue.
No justice, no peace.
Ending up at the Garden City Police Department.
No crooked police. We fed up, we can't take no more.
The protest taking place after retired Nassau County Corrections Officer Ronald Lanier says he was physically abused by police officers who mistook him for a burglary suspect as he was shopping at Western Beef in Mineola last Wednesday. He says Garden City police officers grabbed him from behind, handcuffed him, and threw him to the ground. He also says he was thrown into the back of the squad car where he was verbally abused.
They started beating me, and the first thing I thought about was Sean Bell and everybody else that could not speak.
Garden City police say they will not identify the officers involved in this case, and we called the police department, but they have no comment for us. Cops do say at the time they were looking for this man, Stephen Wilson, who allegedly stole designer handbags from Lord & Taylor. But now Lanier and many others here today want to let the police department know they're not giving up the fight.
We are not only fired up, but we are frustrated. We are frustrated with the sense of injustice that we have seen, that every black man is not a thug, every black man is not a criminal.
What they did to this man was unconscionable. And Garden City, I face you to say you should be ashamed of yourself.
Shame on you! Shame on you!
Lanier says he worked as a Nassau County Corrections Officer for 22 years. He's an Army veteran and Ground Zero volunteer. He says he never thought a visit to the grocery store would turn out to be a nightmare. After all this, he says he wants change.
It's not about retraining. You got to have these officers held accountable for the actions that they create on their own.
In Garden City, Antoinette Biordi, News 12, Long Island.
Those tears that you saw from that brother, it wasn't so much that he was just in shock that he got beat. It was the fact that what he was saying, I'm one of you. I am a police. I am one who worked for the same system. And yet you treat me this way? I mean, yes, brother. They don't care if you're a police. They don't care if you are a military guy. They look at you as trash because in the system of white supremacy, you got these race soldiers running around wanting to run amok and do things to us within the black community. It doesn't matter if you identify. It doesn't matter if you comply, because he knew to comply and he complied and he still got beat up. These white supremacists just say, well, you guys just comply with the police and they won't do you anything. What do you say about this? He was complying and yet he still got beat up. Got beat up, put in the car, found out they had the wrong guy. Didn't say nothing, say, just go. Then I heard on the radio this morning that they said that basically that Garden City area is almost like a sundown town. You better not be over there at certain times. That's what a lot of black people are saying on the radio. You see, we're not making this stuff up. What's happening to us here in America? We are being targeted. We are being done wrong. And this stuff has not stopped happening. Ever since Barack Obama went into that White House, it's been hell on the black man and black woman here in America. And he ain't done crap for us. Not a thing. He did. We watched this man do for everybody else. Ain't done nothing specific for black people. Nothing. He ain't stopped none of this killing. He ain't stopped anything. Mass incarceration, nothing. We suffering because of him. Shoot, if that's the case, we didn't need him in that end. The other guy could have won. If that's the case. Because they just ratcheted up all kind of killings and beatings and everything else on black people. Now, this man gonna get his money. I agree with that. But at the end of the day, they don't respect you. How many times have we seen black police officers beat up and even killed by other so-called cops? And they're black. They don't care about you like that. That's why I'm not really even for black people definitely not being in the military. For what? So you can come back and get beat up like this and they call you the N-word and don't even respect you? Look at this brother, served them for 20 years and look what happened. Trust me, he's definitely hurt because he kept saying, I'm one of you. You'll never be one of them. You're the wrong color, my brother. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you think about this story. Share the video. Let everyone know about it. Like the commentary. Subscribe for more news stories.